The good, the bad, the trashy. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about landfills and just like a little bit about them, the good, the bad, and then two alternatives that I've found to use instead of landfills. All right, so our 3 points today are going to be landfills, burning trash, and recycling. All right, for the first, we have landfills. What are landfills? They're basically a place where every country has landfills. It's just somewhere where you take your trash and move it there. And that's basically it. The trash just sits there and slowly decomposes. Its point isn't to make it decompose, it's just to sit there. Back in, according to Linda Tofano, back in 1987, they actually passed a law to make landfills put a clay liner underneath so it doesn't affect the groundwater and doesn't make it polluted or unhealthy. A good thing about landfills is it's just a way to dispose all of our trash so it's not all around us. But however, the bad part of landfills, it's the odors for nearby residents. It causes a lot of problems and health issues with them. And also the ground pollution it still does have and the toxins that it emits. Right here you can see there's a guy right there on top of all that trash. And then for our second point, we have burning trash. This is another way you can dispose of your trash, which actually Sweden does, and they pride in it. It's only 1% bad for the environment. 99% of it is perfectly safe. They actually import 700 tons of trash from around the world to their country in order to burn it and produce energy. They produce energy and heating for 100,000 homes in Heisenberg, Sweden. And this is their process that they go through in order to make sure it's clean. The 5-step process is, the first process is the nitrogen oxide removal, which happens right here. The second part is mercury and dioxide removal, which happens in this ventilation right here. The third will be acid gas removal system, which takes place up here into this tube. The fourth is the particulate system, which goes along through this chamber right here. And the last will be the pollution control test, just to make sure they're not emitting a lot of pollution into the air. A lot of other countries also do this, but not as high as Sweden, so yes. And then third is recycling. This is the most clean way of disposing of trash. It's not bad for the environment at all. However, there are some issues with it. One of the issues is it still does produce greenhouse gases from the trucks that are used to move around the trash, but right now there's no easy way to transport trash without affecting the environment. Another thing that is kind of bad about the recycling is the toxins in like paint cans and sprays. When they recycle them, they could be recycled into like soda cans and stuff. And if those are consumed, that could be actually very harmful to people. All right, and we're going to have basically in the first point we talked about landfills, a little bit of the good, a little bit of the bad. I don't personally recommend landfills. However, for the second point, we talked about burning, and that's the one I'm more favor of because it produces energy and it is very clean for the environment, although not 100% clean. And then the third point we talked about is recycling, which is the most eco-friendly of the three for disposing waste. And here we have a chart that shows the United States versus Sweden. The United States recycles 34% of all their garbage, while Sweden recycles 48%. The United States burns 12% of all their garbage into energy, and Sweden burns 49%. And a whopping 54% of all of the garbage in the United States is put into landfills, which is currently just sitting there. And while Sweden only have a 3% because they have many laws stopping them. Is it?